We are on.
Wonderful. Good day, everybody. It's Brian Terrian here from the Disability Digest, and welcome to our Wednesday live YouTube event. Jam and Philip are with me here today. Thank you for joining today's event. Appreciate that.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, welcome. So for today, we're going to do something different. We've had in the last few weeks, we get done and there's people that have questions that are unanswered. And then we get the, like, why didn't you answer my question type thing. So that we cover everybody, we have some questions that have been asked in like Philip's Facebook group on our YouTube channel. We're going to sprinkle those in, but this event is for you. If you're listening out there in a YouTube group or a YouTube channel or a Facebook group, you should have the ability to submit a question on the fly as well. So how about that? Ready to go. Yep. So if you're new here, welcome to the Disability Digest. These are weekly live events. We do it every week unless we can't. So we thank you for joining. And at the end of this, we'll give you an idea more about how we can help you and resources that we have. So if you like the work that we collectively do here, we encourage you to subscribe, share the video, tell others about this. And so our strategy here is to really help you do three things: help you get your disability benefits approved fast, help you keep them, and help you maximize them. And we give all of our information away here. And so hopefully you can take advantage of that. And if you need a customized approach for either getting or maximizing your benefits, then as a member of the Disability Digest, we provide that for you as well. Okay, Philip, what do you think? You want to start over there with some of the commonly asked questions that you're receiving, and then we'll work our way back into some that I have and then the YouTube channel?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Okay, let's see here. What exactly can be done by each of us and our friends? Y'all have to excuse me. I am legally blind, so it takes me a minute to read.
You're doing great.
Friends to let leaders know that their system is inhumane, against law, and many other places.
Mm-hmm.
The way and the ALJ being supervised by federal court plaintiffs who pay to be whistleblowers. This is more of a statement.
Yeah.
So I guess he's asking what can we all do to
Right. You know, that I think there's a lot that could be done, but I'd be careful who you vote for. I'm not an alliance or promote any certain political party, but if you have your own views, beliefs, I would be concerned, especially right now. There are certain parties that have different opinions on how Social Security should be addressed. And one in particular, from a service perspective, if the budget increase is not passed, then that means the required amount of staffing to be put in place to service this level or expected level of increase is going to likely deteriorate even further. So that's one thing. And to do that is to just follow what's going on. I think the other thing is we do these events in an effort to help that, because there's a lot of misinformation and it's difficult for people to get answers. And when we answer things here, we try to answer as best we can in line with like a Social Security regulation, like how much money you can make and keep your benefits, all the qualification aspects of it. So we make an effort to do that. So those are a few things. Stay tuned in here. Be careful who you vote for. Any other thoughts?
No.
I will just kind of vent a little bit on one of the points that was brought out on that, and this really annoys me. The Social Security disability judges that are appointed, there's a significant difference in their approval rates. So in Dallas North, there's a Social Security hearing office. I don't know how many judges they have there, but they have some that are approving 18, 19% of the cases. Right. And then there's others that are more in line with the average of 55, 60. So the one thing that, and I don't know how to change this I really don't, other than just talk about it and make people aware. It just doesn't make sense to me that individuals have the same rules and the same guidelines and are interpreting them different. It has a massive negative impact on people that just unfortunately by luck of draw end up with a 21%er. So I guess if you want, you could also you could submit a complaint like back to your congressional office. I know that we use them for other reasons. They do actually listen. So that's my thought on that one.
All right. Here's another one. Is there a list of good disability lawyers for each state somewhere? I'm in Georgia and just got my denial. Had already had experience with one before and had to terminate because they never responded.
Yeah. Well, if there was a list of good disability attorneys or non-attorney representatives, I'm sure everybody would want to be on it. So my answer to that is no, but it's not difficult, in my opinion and experience, to find somebody that is a match for you. And one of the common questions is there somebody like in my area that can help me? And it is, I can understand the comfort level of having somebody locally, but I think if you follow the work that we do about the questions to ask, so that you find somebody that's in line with what your needs are, you can work with somebody anywhere, because really right now, post-COVID, the hearings, the majority of them are done on the telephone or via video. There's a few in-person ones, but for us, for the people that we manage and partner with to get approved, I would prefer either a video or a telephone hearing, because that allows me to get access to a better pool of disability attorneys that want to represent these cases and work at home. And ultimately, it comes down to your medical records and printed evidence. And if there is a visual aspect that needs to be communicated, that can be done in advance with one of these little guys. So just ask the right questions. Here at the Disability Digest, we have when you join us as a member, there's like a list of questions that you can get access to. Things that you may not know to ask. So you can just request that. Good question.
All right, if Jam has some, go ahead. I'm still going through.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's one. More of a statement or a question. I was told last Thursday it was approved, and today was told that claim has been sent to quality review. What does this mean, and how long will it take?
Knowing how long it will take and Social Security is really difficult to predict, but I don't expect it would be more than 60 days. Quality review is the case has had a decision and it's sent off to another group to validate the decision. And I've seen it go both ways. I've seen somebody at the initial somebody at the reconsideration level recently said, listen, I'm going to approve this case. It gets sent off to quality review, and they denied it. And that case just went to hearing and got approved. So it can go both ways. It doesn't there isn't, from my experience, any indication of, you know, what it means. So Jim or Phil, before you load up the next one, I've got to, I'll just sprinkle in a few here. And this is more of a comment. People have questions right now, and contacting Social Security because of their staff, and the average wait time on the phone is 42 minutes. It's just a long time. What I see that happens is people are not asking the right question, or not understanding what to ask. So for example, somebody would commonly say, what are my housing options? It's a very general comment, but what we teach you here is to understand what your housing like wish list is, how to develop that, so that that question becomes more detailed and easier for somebody to respond to. So you know your budget, the criteria of what you need or would like for a place to live, 1, 2 bedroom, studio. Can it be on the first, second, third floor? Does it need to be by public transportation or not? So those things. So think about your question. I encourage you to look at some of the prior events that we've done live, where we've taught you how to use artificial intelligence, AI. So you could use that this way. Say, I am looking for housing, and here is my situation. I'm 57 years old. I have a cat and a dog. That, and enter it in and say, what questions should I be asking? That's one way you can do that. So make sure, put some thought into your question. Another one that we receive commonly is, I have a degenerative disc disease, a torn rotator cuff, and arthritis in my right knee. Do I qualify? All right. Well, I don't know. And as we've explained many times, that's just part of it, is having the condition. So understand the question to ask. All right, I'll turn it over to one of you before I come back to some of the others I've collected.
All right, I've
Right.
got one. Go ahead, Jan.
Okay, thank you, Phil. I have a client who's been denied even though she has breast cancer and had to have a double mastectomy. I thought cancer was automatically approved.
Yeah, well, so with breast cancer or mastectomy, I don't know the details, but like we had John Green, who got denied at his initial application, and we started working on his case for reconsideration. And I think we had the case 3 months. He died, and he had stage 4 cancer from the beginning of his application. So here's the point that I'm making here, is that you can have the condition, but unless you communicate it properly and your medical records point out the severity of it, it will make it difficult to get approved. Right. Philip,
Right.
over to you.
Yeah, here we go. I had my phone hearing on June 29th. Now, while I'm waiting on my decision, I was told to add SSI onto my case, and the SS gave me an appointment for September the 14th. I hope I have a favorable decision before then. This was my last time for SSDI anyway, so I'm wondering if it's a denial, will the SSI factor in?
It could. I don't, based on what I'm hearing, I don't know if I would have advised to do that, because that could delay your Social Security disability decision. It's the way the payments are structured. If there's Social Security disability, it could cause a problem, but it is what it is now. I don't know, there's so many variables in that. And if, in order to get SSI, you would need to meet the medical criteria for Social Security disability. And if you got denied at the hearing, then that means that you don't qualify for the medical criteria for Social Security disability. So then if it's medical driven for your SSI, then I don't see how you would qualify there. That's my 2 cents on that. That's just very general statement based on an extremely limited amount of information. Yep. So I have one. This is I swiped this off of our YouTube channel, and it was, you know, the comment reads, "I was under the impression that lawyers like mine that handle disability exclusively tend to drag it out so that they can get the most money out of it. Don't get me wrong, they're nice people, they're very helpful, but I have this feeling that they're just not in a rush for me." So you can do the math on this, because everybody has the same fee agreement that Social Security has, which is it's 25% of back benefits paid, and that's capped at 7,200. So I don't know the exact number, but let's say that you have a check that is, I'll just use some simple math, $3,000 a month Social Security check. So at 10 months of back benefits, you'd be at 30,000. Well, that's going to be over the 25%. So there would be no incentive to delay it any further, because they're already at the max amount. So just kind of do the math from what's considered to be your onset date, the date that you are not able to work because of your conditions, and then figure it out that way. So yeah, I mean, from my perspective, and you know, we work with a limited amount of people every month. It's been running around 15, 16 a month. That's about the number that we can work with. The rest we refer to our course. But from our perspective, I would rather see a case get approved at the initial level, and so everybody gets paid faster, because if you hold on to the case and it's going to go potentially up to 800 days, it's not good for the member, but it's just financially, it's a long time to wait for that extra amount of money. Just doesn't make sense for me anyway, but everybody has their own different practice. Okay. What do you say, Jam? Got something going on over there?
No,
Okay.
not for me.
Here's a long one. Hello, I'm new to the group. I'm 50 years old. I have RA since 14. Hyperthyroidism, autoimmune thyroiditis. I don't know how to say that, since 17. And pancreatitis since 44. I have a question about disability reviews. If anyone has gone through it, here's the question. I was approved for disability for RA mostly, but also have UC Hashimoto and hypothyroidism in August 2021. In the paperwork, it says review recommended in 24 months. Nowhere else does it say how long before my review. When it is time for your review, how far in advance do you find out?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows, because it's sporadic from what I see. You know, your award letter may say, or most say 5 to 7 years or 3 to 5 years, but they're seldom earlier, but they're going to be somewhere, and that's when they could review you, is what they're saying. So the only advice I have on this is not to be so concerned about when the review is going to come. Rather, to just focus on what it is that you can control, which is what you should be doing to keep your benefits, which we cover in different sessions here. Simply stamp with your treatment, follow the information that we have that teaches you how to communicate your limitations to your doctors, those types of things. And then just let everything else, take course. Now, I'm sure it's easy for me to stand here in front of the camera and say that, well, this is your income, but that's really the only thing you can do. You should just, from what I see, there is no way to control or predict when or if you're going to get a review.
All right. Here's a short one. My case was sent to Quality Control Office in Philly after a decision was made. Is anyone familiar with that step in the process?
Yeah, that's similar to the question that we just had earlier, where somebody's case had reached a decision and sent on. Be the same process. It could be a yay or a nay. It's another group taking a look at it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I have one here that is a long question from FR0103 on our YouTube channel. And is asking about the approval process. And the point of the question is your age declared or influence the final disability determination, right? So does age influence the decision, right? Jim, you and I were just talking about this.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to chime in from your perspective? I put you on the hot seat because you're in red today, which looks fabulous on you, by the way.
Well, yeah, it will increase your approval chances. Let's say you're 60, about 54 years old, and you had the same type of job for the last 15 years. And Social Security is gonna look at that of you not being able to do that job any longer.
Right. Yeah. Well said. Now let's flip it and say that you're not in that age favorable range, right? You are under 40. Well, no, let's say you're 45, right? For somebody like that, how is it different?
It's up to the medical evidence for me.
It is exactly. But also they need to prove, if you're under 50, you need to prove that you're not able to do any job out there.
Yeah.
So that would be a greeter at Walmart, ticket taker at a movie theater, any job that they have in the occupational directory for Social Security. So then back to Jan's point, if you had more than 15 years in the same type of work, doesn't have to be with the same company or the same job, and you're in your 50s, then age is going to be in your favor because it's back to proving that you cannot do that type of work and the skills required. Yep. Good job, Jim, being on the spot.
Thank you.
Here's a question on that same line there, Brian. If my past jobs required me to maintain a Class B CDL, would that be classified as a skilled labor?
Yeah, sure. You need a skill to, well, you could argue that both ways. And this gets into like the nitty-gritty stuff that attorneys argue in court, but I'm going to go with yes, you do. That's a skill. The skill that you have is the ability to drive, and the requirement to drive is your license, right? So if you're an insurance agent, then it's the insurance license partnered with a skill set to be a successful agent. That's my answer to that. Yeah.
So if you say you're 55 years old and you're a truck driver and CDL and you're trying to get certified and you meet the requirements, so that's no longer they can't use that argument as a skill that you're able to maintain, right?
Well, let me see if I put it this way and answer your question. This is a real life situation. The gentleman, I think he was in Oklahoma. He was a career driver and he was driving over the road, which means you go long distance. And his wife would go with him from time to time. And he developed diabetes, which impacted his vision and the responsiveness, his lower extremities. So one, he was having a hard time seeing. Two, he was having a hard time responding. So he wasn't able to pass his CDL. So that means he couldn't drive. And he couldn't drive a truck like that he did. So the premise of his case was just isolated that. Now, could he drive other vehicles? Maybe they could say that. I don't remember the details of the argument if there was one, but could he drive a car safely? I don't know. Could he drive a small delivery van with vision? I don't think so. So that's a real life one.
Yeah.
And okay, and if you're used to driving and driving is what you do, what skills do you have there from that job that you've known and done for over 15 years that directly transfer into something else? You can't fly planes, you can't, your vision. So it's, I don't see anything. That's that part of the work actually gets kind of interesting. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. I see like some Mark, Anchor, and Mo over on the YouTube channel. Jam, have some questions or any of those worthy of pointing out? And in the meantime, for the 187 of you out there, thanks for joining. This is just what I see on YouTube. If you have questions that you would like to address and you have access to either chat in Philip's Facebook group or on the YouTube channel, then let us know for future reference. You can send them in to us as a member, just reply to any emails and we will address them.
All right, here's one, Brian, from PMO Civilian Police. Yeah, I love Social Security. I've worked 35 years straight and have paid 35 years straight. And I need to prove to them my injury, money that I earned and they took.
Yeah, you do. You do need to prove it. That's more of a statement. And that's what we can help you do here. So for sure, we hope that you can listen to the information on the channel, but the best way to get help is join us. When you complete your profile, it'll hopefully demonstrate or show us that you're not working and where you're at in the process. And we can get you into our disability approval course, which there's no charge for, and there's live support to help you get a customized approach where you can do this on your own with just the course, or if you need somebody to do it with you or partner with you, that's a conversation we can have as well. So, all right.
All right, I'm a 57-year-old 100% PNT veteran, also federally retired enforcement officer. I was recently denied for SSDI. I suffer from mental health, diabetes, bilateral feet issues, no standing. I need your help.
Sure. We are, I'd say right now, 100% PNT veterans. We are probably working with 22 to 24. Really interesting situation. So yeah, for sure, we'd be glad to talk to you about it. Reach out. We have an understanding of why it's so challenging and what needs to be done to overcome it. There's 4 things. So if you're not a member here yet, join us. Put a similar comment like that in your registration when you come in. That will help us. Or if you're a member, just reply to the emails like the invite that you received to this event or however you found out about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Brian,
As well. Sorry.
oh, sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, Brian, I'd like to inform group if you live in Pennsylvania, it took me 53 weeks to get approval from beginning to end and get my funds.
53 weeks. So, okay. That's not that bad. I wonder what stage you got approved at. Right?
Yeah.
I will share this with you. It's not an optimistic good news piece, but I was working with a member this week here, and she's in the great state of Texas. She has been waiting 420 days and has not received an initial decision.
Woof.
The last time her case was worked
Wow.
on and updated was February of 2023. And so we pulled her case file, went through everything. Just so now we're in the process of getting congressional office involved, and it's just, yeah.
All right,
right.
I have a question. I was rewarded my disability in 2021 and I'm 62 years old. I have heart problems, back problems, stomach problems. What are the chances of me being rechecked for eligibility?
How old?
62.
62. I mean, I would say you are likely, you could get one more review. Yeah, that's my estimate. Again, like I spoke to earlier, it's just difficult to predict. You look at it this way, they do these reviews because they spend, excuse me, they spend $1 on the last budget, that the Biden budget that was released, they're getting $7 back. So they invest $1 and they get $7. So they're reviewing people. So they're looking for people, ideally, that they can take off of benefits, because that's where they're recouping their investment. So the older you are, the less likely you are, which is true. But we've had people in our group here at age 64 that have received them. So yeah, but that's not common.
I'd like to know what happens to my disability if I get married to a person who is a veteran. I'm on SSI and SSDI.
Well, your SSI would be impacted because that's a need-based component. And that's really depending on your combined assets. I don't know. It's not going to go, it's going to either go down or go away. Your Social Security disability income will stay the same. So you'll likely take a hit, but I guess that's the price of love, right? Gotta pay for it. Yep.
Right, Brian, my application is now at 28% on the approval process. It says it may take 7 months from start.
So that would be 7 months from start to finish, you think, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad, actually. Yeah, the average wait time for a decision is, for the initial, is still 233 days.
How long does it take to get your response from Social Security and receive your funds?
I wonder if this is like an initial decision or a hearing. Let's just say it's a hearing. Reply if it's different. Okay. If it's a hearing, I'm actually thought, a little side note here. One of the things I've been thinking of doing is showing the flow of money at each stage. Like if you get approved at initial, like how long does it take? And if it gets stuck, where's the money, where to go chase it, et cetera, at each step of the way. But for this one, at a hearing, did this person say they were approved, Jim?
No, but I think she is, because the part of the question is and receive your funds.
Okay, so once you go to a hearing, which I'm presuming this is, you receive a decision letter that says that it's either favorable or not favorable. And then in that letter, it will say to you within 60 days, you're going to receive another letter called your award letter. So you should be paid around the time, if not before, your award letter arrives. That's pretty consistent with the 60. Now, there's a few things that will slow that down. Like if you have Social Security disability and SSI, that award letter could be much longer because there's an offset that they need to calculate. Or if you've had workers' compensation received, that could also slow it down. So those are some of the outliers. So I want to be conscious of time. We've got what, maybe 4 more minutes, Jim, and then we have to wrap up for the day.
Okay, can I use work credits from my deceased spouse if they were on SSDI when they died and I became disabled without having enough work credits for SSDI?
Yeah, there's a, like, you have to be married for a certain period of time, meet that criteria, but that is a possibility. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I was approved for SSDI in February 23 after 5 years. Have you ever heard of monthly amount of SSDI payment being wrong?
Well, people have thought it was wrong, but no, I haven't. Philip, you ever heard of this?
We've had one client that had miscalculation and went back and appealed it, won the appeal, but it's very rare.
Yeah. Yeah. There is, and we have a video on this. There is a calculator that Social Security uses, and you can actually go in and let's say that your check amount is $1,400, but you think it should be different. You can take your earnings from your Social Security website, look at those and spot a difference, and then use the calculator to see what it could be. Those tools are out there and available. All right, we have Philip. We've got what, 2 minutes. So you have any others over there on your side before we wrap up?
Yeah, one last one. So if my husband's disability gets approved, we would get $1,600 a month. I wonder if we get divorced, would we receive more benefits since we have a child under 18?
No.
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 Short answer, no.
No, the benefits of being divorced would not be financial or related to your Social Security. It's just, that's a whole other topic. Jim, you have one more before we wrap up?
Yes, I'd like to get a part-time job, but I'm afraid to. I just got my benefits after 6.5 years, CDR in 18 months. So how can I do anything without them thinking I can work? I'd be way under SGA. I just don't want to risk it in any way.
Well, I mean, there is the law, and if you're within the law, then it's going to be difficult for them to take your benefits away. But it really comes down to what your comfort level is, and doing that. Like, we have a benefit protection program here at the Disability Digest for certain members. It doesn't cost you anything, but if you're a client of ours, and we're managing all of your benefits, like your Medicare, your healthcare, and all that, then we would provide a layer of protection for you. That could be something that you could look into with us, because then if they do come after you, you have access to our legal team at no charge. And I see where it's costing others, like the value of that is like $7,000-8,000 and up. It depends on what the situation is that you need to prove. So, all right, so we're gonna wrap up here. A great group today, 223 of you on YouTube. I don't know how many out there in other parts of the world, but thank you for tuning in today. I want to thank Jam, Philip, for your ongoing most excellent assistance. And we thought we might get through all the possible questions, but I don't think we did. So, but we'll be back here next week. We'll have a topic, a theme, and you come and get your question hopefully answered. And if you're new here again, welcome. We encourage you to subscribe, ring that bell so you can get more. And the very best way we can help you folks